Don't let them take over our lives.
But I'm starting to remember more about the operation. I think I understand why I'm having these nightmares about drowning. My mom told me that they put me in ice water when my heart stopped.
I could not bear to be away from him for even a moment. My thoughts were of him all the time. I would automatically answer when he spoke to me, as if in a trance, knowing I had within me the secret knowledge of his being. I could not bear to have him out of my sight. I loved the way he would take control of the situation, the arrogant manner in which he sat with his head to one side, listening. I wanted to be near him, to watch him talk, move, sleep. I was addicted.
I've never looked back. I didn't want to think about you. To have your image always in front of me. When everything broke down, it was just too difficult. I couldn't think. I couldn't breathe. The darkness closed in on me. It made me suffocate. We had such a great beginning. Everything fit. And things changed. We went away together. May as well have gone to the moon.
There is an old Inuit legend that tells of how the Kabluna, or white men, came to be. There once was a man who became very angry when he caught his young daughter mating with a dog. Throwing both culprits into a boat, he piloted them to a small island and left them to their fate. If you wish to mate with a dog, so be it. Years later, he felt remorse and a need to see his only offspring. Returning to the island, he discovered that his daughter and the dog had become the parents of a brood of tall, fair-skinned people with hairy faces and bushy eyebrows. The father did not stop at the island, but only drove by in his boat. Looking out to sea, his daughter saw him and was filled with longing for her home. Diving into the cold water, she swam to the boat and tried to climb in. Her father pushed her off, but she clung to the edge. In desperation, he took up his axe and cut off her fingers, so she fell down into the sea. Into the murky depths she sank, and when she arose, it was as Esna, goddess of the sea. The tips of her fingers became the fishes and creatures of the sea, the walrus, the seals, and the whales. The children with the dog remained on the island, and later became known as the Kabluna, or white men.
I still don't see the connection between being up there and what eventually happened.
Well, maybe there isn't one. But I know if we'd stayed here, we'd be married by now and have a station wagon and 2.2 kids.
Sometimes several families would go off together to hunt or fish. We would spread across the tundra in a long line of skidoos, dragging the wooden sleds called komatiks behind. We would go for 2 days at a time, sometimes longer, and build an igloo to sleep in overnight. I was surprised at how warm it would be in the igloo. A tiny fire kept the space comfortable. We would brew tea and make bannock from flour and baking powder. Dogs were not pets in the north. Often they were wild wolves that had been caught and set in harness. Dogs were kept chained outside the houses of the hamlet. They were fierce and vicious. They were known to maim and even eat small children who wandered too close. When stumbling home in the dark or in a bad snowstorm, one always had to remember the position of each dog in town.